Hey guys, Dan for World Mr. Grey, Dandalf the Grey.
The world can get a fuck.
I agree. Sorry I haven't been active for a while. I've had some personal family stuff I've had to deal with. It's very stressful. So to distract myself, I thought we'd go down the paranormal, non-drama route of debunking. Because I believe it can be done. As everyone and their dog and their cat knows, there's been a lot of shit this last week. Not going to go into it. It's every single week for the last 82 years there's drama in the paranormal field. But I was wondering, can you debunk the paranormal, or paranormal videos I should say, this is what I always say, debunking ghost videos and the paranormal with logic. Can you debunk it without drama? With drama-free debunking, can it be done? I have a theory, so I'm going to test that. So Slaptam has put a new video out like he always does. I love a bit of Slaptam, a bit of old Callan, can't beat him. But there's a couple of channels that he features in those ones, which some I have covered in the past, some I have just briefly gone over. So we're going to try and give a breakdown or a debunk, whatever it is, without being dramatic about it. Because I believe it can be done. Now, Callan's put out like an hour, 40-minute video. I'm not going to show the whole thing. The link is down below. Go watch it, sub, like, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But there are a couple of channels we're going to have a look at in his channel, because that's what this panel debunkers do. We steal other people's content. Now this first one is regarding the haunted side, who doesn't really do anything anymore other than go live. And just shows his old paranormal investigations. Now they've been debunked many times, but the first time I actually covered them was I think about 4 years ago. Possibly 5 years ago, and I gave a detailed explanation of what I could see going on as opposed to what the haunted side was saying going on. So we're gonna have a look first, and then we're gonna go over it.
But around a dozen people have died on the property, and that there's also been
This
several
is the Clean
reports
Water
of
House.
creepy occult activity in the area. Cautiously, they enter the property.
That's Patrick, I believe, and this was blowing up the internet at the time. This particular clip.
That there's like this just red door, and this looks like it used to just be outside.
Yeah.
Long after entering the house, the investigators notice a strange-looking symbol on one of the walls.
Who's in here? What is that?
I don't know why that would be anything other than you go to abandoned places, you're gonna find graffiti on the walls, mostly dicks. It's weird.
Any present entities in the house what the symbol means. Eerily, they receive a response. Take a listen.
What does that mean? Oh, I'm getting bad.
Anti-prey.
Now they're using the form of Ovilus. I can't remember exactly which version that is, but it's a well-known fact with the Ovilus. It's a word bank randomizer, basically, and essentially what it's supposedly doing is it's detecting the EMF or the ether of the paranormal, and it converts it into words of what the spirits are saying. Now, anyone with a brain should know that, same as like the Spirit Talker apps, the Necrophonic ain't even in it. That's completely something different altogether. But those apps, same as GhostTube, they're pre-programmed with a set of words, usually creepy style words to connect to the paranormal. You won't find words in the obvious like hot dog or cheeseburger. You won't find none of those words. You'll find words like ritual, Antichrist, Satan, I am here, you are there, that kind of stuff. It's all pre-programmed words by the developers of the software in order to give paranormal investigators something to try and connect with the spirit world, but that's all it does is create its own echo chamber within the paranormal field of the people who use them. You go to an abandoned place looking for ghosts, then you get ritual up on the Ovilus. That kind of confirms your bias with the paranormal investigation. That's all that is. Nothing has ever been proven to work with any of that equipment, to be honest with you, which I've gone over a number of times on this channel, but we'll continue.
Anti-prey?
The team interprets this to mean that the house could be cursed.
Does that mean that?
I mean, anti-prey would be a curse?
The same thing with pretty much all paranormal investigators, good or bad. They all connate the words they get and they build the narrative of the story they think they're getting. If they hear a knock, they think, oh, is that you? That's the little girl we saw on the Ovilus saying anti-prey, which means curse. It's very confirmation bias when it comes to that particular field with the Ovilus Spirit Talker's Ghost Tube. It's very confirmation biased. But anyway, moving on.
Then, using other specialist equipment, they search for visual confirmation of a resident spirit. Take a look at what they see.
Are you upstairs? Yep. It's
No.
mapping it just like in the middle of all of.
Maximum.
Oh, what was that?
Sacro
you-
res.
Now, when it comes to the SLS or XLS in the newer versions of the Kinect viewfinder, people, I don't know if they still use them, but a lot of people used to use them to try and catch ghosts. They could, in their minds, because the Kinect can see in infrared, it was able to detect ghosts on anywhere you want around the place you're walking around. But it's a well-known fact and 100% proven fact. Microsoft themselves tell you this. It's not designed to move about. If it moves about, it will create anomalies in the software, which will think it's seeing something, but then when it tries to connect the dots, literally connect the dots to the shoulders and the head, it creates what it thinks is a figure, but it's not. It's just the software glitching. I've gone over this many times over the years. I have covered the SLS Kinect, gone in detail, actual detail of the technology being used, and yeah, I've been doing it for years. My latest one was that one from my uncle the scientist. But that is the latest one, which goes into the definitive breakdown of the SLS Kinect, of why it's not catching ghosts. Now, the question I always get in those videos I make is, so if it stands still and sees a figure in the darkness, does it mean it's definitely catching ghosts? If you say it's not to be moved about, no, it's still not catching ghosts. Watch the latest one on my channel, not the latest video, but the latest Kinect SLS camera video I did on my channel. If you have a ghost, whatever spectrum of light it's on, if that is what's happening, the SLS, in order to create a stick figure on the screen, has to capture something in the light spectrum it's looking at. So if that ghost we can't see with our naked eye, but the camera's catching it, you still should be able to see it on the Xbox viewfinder, not the stick figure part, the viewfinder, because the viewfinder will see it. But because it's not seeing it, but you can see the stick figure, that means the software is glitching. Like I said, I go into a lot more detail in the videos on my channel. Go check them out if you want. If you can't be bothered, that's fine. It is not designed in the way paranormal investigators think it should be. And that's basically it.
I've got like.
No, he's walking around, moving around.
Did you hear
Again,
that?
not designed for that.
Yeah.
The same eerie figure appears again on the staircase.
And the reason, right, now just think, when you see actual human people use the Kinect in like video games or whatever, and you look at the stick figure viewfinder, you'll see it tracks them perfectly. Whenever it's in the case of they think it's a ghost, it's dancing about. It's wobbling about. And it's not because the ghost is like, oh, look at me, I'm here. It's not the ghost doing that. It's because the software is glitching and it can't pinpoint what it's supposed to be looking at. It's probably looking, because it's in darkness as well, even though it's infrared, it still throws out beams of light in order to find the point of interest. It's probably detecting like corners of the banister, doorways, even patterns in wallpaper. It will detect as a stick figure if it sees something sort of familiar, and then it'll just literally join the dots. That's what's happening there.
We can see you now.
So we're supposed to see, right? So that area there, that's that door, right? So the stick figure is there. Now the stick figure is probably detecting something there, and probably the top of that banister or dado rail, whatever the hell it is. And then because the way the software works, it's then creating the rest of the body, because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to find a humanoid figure. And that's why it's not detecting ghosts, basically.
Possibly the most creepy moment of the video comes when the team inadvertently captures something
Right, this part I have done a detailed breakdown on. Let me move my big fat head, one sec.
mysterious through a window. However, it isn't until they review the footage later that they realise what they've actually caught. Take a look.
Right as I was walking back into the house, I just happened to glance down at the camera's LED screen. I thought I saw some kind of black shadow behind that window, but I didn't even realize until I reviewed the footage that I'd captured probably one of the best shadow figures I've ever seen.
Now, that particular clip right there is when the haunted side were finally caught out. I did a detailed breakdown, which hopefully I'm showing some of it here now, but if you want to go watch it, just search on YouTube, World of Mr. Grey, the haunted side, you'll see the video there. But I go into quite a lot of detail of the camera viewpoints of both Patrick and I believe his name was Jason, who was no longer with him. Went into a detailed breakdown of why their cameras don't line up, but since that clip, they have been found to be faking a lot of stuff since then. But that was, I believe, was the first time they were found to be faking stuff. Because before that particular breakdown I did a couple of years ago, I'm not saying it was just me, but you know, as far as I was aware, I was the only one who did that particular breakdown. Before that, they were known as the Golden Boys of the Paranormal. Before My Haunted Hotel claimed themselves to be Golden Boys, the haunted side were known as the Golden Boys. But then after that clip, other people started looking into them, started seeing more stuff. So I was just aware my hands are going all over the place. I've been watching that Bigfoot guy too much. The breakdown's on my channel. Go watch it.
Tammy Garmathy, a Texas native and paranormal investigator, has long believed that she's haunted. Known on TikTok as the Haunted 136, Tammy's on a mission to find evidence that could substantiate the strange occurrences she's experienced throughout her life. Tammy frequently posts intriguing CCTV footage from her home that's left many viewers both puzzled and spooked. This first clip shows a cupboard containing a collection of dolls. Take a look at what transpires.
As you know, I have my issues with TikTok. I am not a fan of TikTok. I believe it teaches you extremely bad values when it comes to how to treat other people. I'm not talking about paranormal stuff now, but I'm just talking in general. I believe it gives young people a warped perspective of how the world works. This is TikTok, by the way. And it's also created a lot of dangerous trends over the years, which people have died from doing. Because when it comes to TikTok, somebody does a video, 100 other people have to do the same video, and that's how it catches on. That's how trends happen. That's how kids die. That's why I don't like TikTok, for various reasons. That's one of them. But whenever someone says this paranormal TikToker, the board right there, that's the scientific board I created scientifically many years ago. Real science. TikTok, no, it's out of bollocks. That's the paranormal TikTok bullshit equation I created years ago, which has never failed me. But yeah, whenever someone says TikTok, my hairs are immediately up. Not the ones on my head, the ones on the back of my neck. But anyway. Now, my first problem with this one is, and this is what I've always alluded to, I've always shown actually what can be done with a fixed camera position, being an indoor camera or an outdoor camera. Now, first of all, the door could be opening because it's on a lopsided floor. You go into old buildings. I've lived in these old buildings growing up, and because I come from a mining community, the houses were built a long time ago with mortar and dust, and they're starting to crumble over the years. A lot of the flooring, you'll have dips where people over the years have just walked on, sat on. It just happens to houses over decades. So a lot of the times when a cupboard is on the edge like that, I'm saying this in the part where I'm saying nothing's fake yet. But what could be happening is that door does that now and again, and maybe she knows about it, or maybe she gets freaked out about it. She decided to put cameras in her bedroom. But that is a naturally occurring thing in a lot of houses, especially old, thin, fragile cupboard doors. On the other hand, what it also could be is when it comes to a fixed camera position, especially indoor CCTV, they are not the best of quality. As you can see, there's a low quality camera. If this person wanted to attach a string to whatever part of that door, and you could have the string go past that TV, you don't even have to hide it in there. This is just an opinion, by the way. You can then open that door at will to say, look, this is my haunting which is happening. And because of the low grade of the CCTV, you're not going to see the fishing wire or the magician's string. You're not going to see that because it's a very thin, clear made string which magicians used for decades to do their little tricks. You can buy it online. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities you got to come to before you say, oh yeah, that's haunted.
Another video captures a newly purchased antique desk.
Now this is a perfect example of, once again, low-grade CCTV being able to hide things. I believe there's a string opening. I can't prove it to you at all because you can't see the string. But going on experience when it comes to these kind of things, 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. Is it a ghost? Probably not. But even if you were a full-blown believer, you would have to do your due diligence to think of all kinds of aspects which could be going on in this moment right here, right now, before you get to it's a ghost. If you don't, you're clearly jumping to conclusions, and which is fine. We all do that. But I believe this is to be opened in how can I say it, an entertaining way. But again, because of the low grade, you're not going to see any strings around that because it's just too low quality.
Here we see some footage captured in the bedroom of the home.
And now this I do believe to be fake, by the way. Because that's just my mindset. I'm an
Yet
open
another
skeptic.
clip shows a bedside lamp seemingly spinning all on its own.
What you can also do as well, mind, is you can not just hide strings when it comes to low quality stuff. You can also use masking. Now, I've gone over masking for years on this channel. Some people use the term masking in the wrong, incorrect way. It is what it is. But what you can do in this is, when it comes to masking, you could, because of the fixed position, you could cut that part out. You could stand behind it and just have the background as a clean plate, and then there's a person standing there just pushing the doll up. I've covered this special effect many times on my channel. The videos are on there. Just search World of Mr. Grey, masking techniques or masking tutorial, stuff like that. It's very simple to do, even for the people who don't know what to do on like Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve. You can YouTube tutorials. Like I said, mine are on there also. But it's not hard thing to do when when it comes to editing techniques. Now, if the camera was moving, that's different. That's using camera tracking and keyframing, possibly, or rotoscoping. But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see that because it's not difficult to do, but it's a lot more work to do, basically. This would be my summation, that what's probably going on is there's a mask in there. Again, I'm not proving anything here. That's just my opinion. And again, I'm giving you these opinions and these conclusions because these are the things you got to think of before you say, well, yeah, it's a ghost. This is the problem you have when it comes to YouTube. Unfortunately, you can't trust almost anything you see on YouTube when it comes to paranormal incidents. Even the good guys. You can't always trust it because there is an incentive when it comes to showing, look, this is what I caught. By the way, there's also stuff moving there by the dress, which could be where the string is hidden to pull that. But who knows?
Paranormal places don't just attract ghosts, they also attract the
Paranormies.
curiosity of paranormal investigators. The YouTube channel Paranormies thrives off spooky locations, attempting to catch as many ghostly sightings and events as possible. In one video shared to the channel, the YouTubers decide to explore a church in St. Elizabeth in Quebec.
Now, before we go further, I've made debunking videos on Paranormies over the years. The editing, as in storytelling, top notch. Absolutely top notch. Bit cringe for me, to be honest, because they're always crying in the bloody things. But the editing when it comes to storytelling and filmmaking was pretty good. I caught out quite a few times, again, they're on my channel. I caught them being absolutely terrible in continuity when it came to the editing techniques. Because in one clip, there's a phone on the bed, they get up to investigate something, and it's supposed to be a oneer. It's not, because the phone is suddenly gone and in his pocket. The continuity errors were quite famous on YouTube when it came to Paranormies. But the biggest egregious thing I think they ever did, and I've covered this many times, about a year ago, they said, we've been picked up by a Canadian TV network company to do their own ghost adventures. I always call these Mindseed 2.0 because the way they styled themselves. They did the way they filmed, the way they did their piece to cameras, their interviews were all Mindseed 2.0. I was so afraid. I thought I was gonna die in this place with animal in the background. You know, that kind of interview. I always found that kind of filming to be a bit cringe myself, but that's just me. You know, the worst thing they ever did on their channel when they announced that they were gonna be making a network TV show in Canada. Ghosts Off Grid, I believe the first season's already out. Left their fans on YouTube and completely ghosted them and went off to make their TV show. Now, first of all, I would never begrudge anyone having a TV show. Brilliant, great stuff, well done. That's not the issue. But the issue was that they took donations from their fans, right? They constantly took donations from their fans, which, again, nothing wrong with donating to the channel you like. But they completely ghosted their fans, and as soon as they got that TV deal, their YouTube stopped. YouTube completely stopped. Maybe they were busy, which is fine. But they completely ghosted their fans. And they also, when Paranormies started out not many years ago, what was it, 2019 or 2020? I can't remember. When they started out, within 10 months of their channel being up and running, they did a video basically saying, when you sigh to making like an apology video or like we can't do this anymore. We can't fund our passion anymore. They've been doing it for 10 months. 10 months! Try making something for 10 years and then come back and have a whinge. 10 months they were making a video of how we can't do this anymore. We are struggling. Please donate to our Patreon and stuff. Again, nothing wrong with having a Patreon. But they did that please give us money video within 10 months of their channel going up, and I think they had a bit of money then. And what they would also always do is not only complain about not having money, this is the funniest thing. They would also have various live streams over the months. From the 3 live streams I saw over a separate amount of time, over months and months and months of their channel, one of them, they were on holiday, and I don't know what the hell it was. All I saw was palm trees, blistering sunshine. I think they were literally by the beach, drinking margaritas, absolutely pissed off their minds, asking people to donate to them because they didn't have the money. So they're making videos saying we don't have the money to do this, yet they're in bloody Barbados or whatever the hell they went. I don't know where they were. Again, you're entitled to holidays, nothing wrong with that. But you can't make a video saying we don't have the money to do this anymore and then have a live stream like a month later saying, oh, look, happy Hanukkah or whatever. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. But then, like I said, they got to the end and they had their TV deal. They ghosted their fans, even though fans in the comments still to this day, I see it now and again. I can't believe it. I still see some fans in their comments, even though they haven't posted anything for like 7 months or 4 months, because they posted one post promoting their TV show. That's it. That's all they have done on their YouTube channel. But I still see the odd comment, saying $9.99 donation or whatever, or thanks, super thanks. And yeah, they completely ghosted their fans. Anyway, I'm not going to cover any breakdowns of the Paranormies. I've gone over them countless times. It gets a bit boring after a while, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the Paranormies. Again, if you want to see my breakdowns of Paranormies, just search World of Mr. Grey Paranormies.
So we've just entered one of the most amazing...
No! No, it's fine, don't worry. Ghost Theory, I can't wait.
Been to in a long time.
Ghost Theory is a YouTube channel that travels the UK in search of paranormal hotspots with the aim of finding real evidence. In this video, the team travels
now,
to an abandoned house.
before we go further, right now, Ghost Theory have had a back and forth with certain debunkers over the last year. There was some things said between both sides. One side went at each other, the other side went at them, and then very horrible things were said. And yeah, but I have actually made one debunking video about Ghost Theory. I think it was a year ago. Again, I just broke down what I was looking at. Now, the thing I will say about Ghost Theory, they get this thing thrown about, are they filmmakers? In my personal opinion, whether they went to film school, they didn't go to film school, whether they bloody Spielberg-esque filmmaking or the Uwe Boll filmmaking, it doesn't matter, right? And that to me doesn't matter. Because people are saying, oh, they can build a narrative because they're filmmakers. It doesn't matter. I didn't go to film school, I can build a narrative. You didn't go to film school, you can build a narrative, trust me. That's nothing to do with filmmaking, that's just the kind of thing you can do if you think about it. It's nothing hard, right? Now, I know they get a lot of shit in the debunking community, and some of it is understandable from certain points of view. I've seen some of their short films, I quite like them. I like their short films. I like making short films myself, so I can appreciate that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's been a lot of shit between debunkers and the ghost theory over the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I can't remember now. But you still should be able to break them down. Not break them down as in like you fucking no, that kind of thing. I mean like break down what's going on in the scene.
In an unknown location in an attempt to make contact with the supernatural.
That has just disappeared. So we want to try and find out who this person
Even though I'm bald and ginger, I'm not related to
it. Abandoned, and potentially find out why if we can.
After a quick sweep of the property, the team set up REM pods in the
Now,
kitchen.
before we go further, the issue of abandoned houses has come up over the last couple of weeks, which I used to do urban exploring. One of the things I always avoided was houses, because you can go to like World War II bunkers, abandoned factories, abandoned castles. That in my eyes, that's fine. When it comes to houses, and it's not just on Ghost Theory, this was the thing with another channel the other day. No matter how wrecked they look, they're probably still owned by someone. Houses usually are owned by someone. And there's a sort of a debate up in the air right now whether you should be allowed to explore abandoned houses. Some of my favourite urban explorers have gone into houses many times, but it was always something I would avoid when I was doing it, because you just don't know. You don't know, and there's a lot of personal items in those houses, and yeah, they could still be owned. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
We have a device down in the kitchen with an aerial. If you touch that, it will make a very annoying sound.
Now, before going further, when it comes to REM pods, they're basically a portable electromagnetic field detector. And in the terms of paranormal investigations, the theory is that if you place it somewhere and you're not near it, if it goes off, that means something's near it. But the problem is it's a very flawed device. The range of the REM pod is 4 to 6 inches in diameter, essentially. It can differ depending on the battery strength, temperature, humidity. That can affect the range. It could go further, it could go shorter. But what it does is detects the electromagnetic field in the surrounding area. But the problem is that field, whether you're standing close to it or further away from it, it can be affected by mobile phones, walkie-talkies, power lines, electrical outlets. It can be affected by a lot of things. The ionosphere can also affect it. So this is again why it's a flawed device to be using if you were trying to find ghosts, basically. Because I've been on an investigation with a team who used a REM pod. They put it down. It immediately started going off, and it would not stop going off for about 10 minutes until they switched it off. And I believe the REM pod was created by a guy to try and contact his daughter who had died in a car crash. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed. That's the story I remember surrounding the REM pod.
Initially, the investigation does begin quite slowly. However, it soon heats up when the team suddenly hears a banging sound.
Hello? Okay. Okay.
Now, in the case of the bang, when it comes to, especially with abandoned places, sometimes a lot of these places, they haven't been walked around in years, right? And, like I said, they'll have items on shelves, on the floor, chairs, whatever, just left there over the years, gathering dust. But when someone starts walking around an area, whether they realize it or not, they might have knocked something, they might have disturbed the floorboards, which will hit that shelf, and eventually something will fall. There's a lot of factors you have to take in when you hear like a little thing like that in an abandoned place. Again, like I said, I've been in abandoned dark tunnels on my own. I always used to go on my own. And the knocks and things I would hear would turn me a full-blown 100% believer if I didn't use my logical brain. And it is scary shit, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to a bang, especially in an abandoned house, you sit in your own house, your lived-in house at night on your own with nothing, no music, no TV. Just sit there for an hour. You'll hear all kinds of bangs and knocks and the house relaxing, or because you've disturbed something. It's just the way it is. Now, I don't know if that's the case in this, but that's, again, the conclusions you should be going to before you say it's a ghost.
Eerie on camera.
There was someone in there. There was someone just there, Joe. There was sucking goosebumps.
The team quickly runs upstairs, but it becomes apparent that there's no one up there.
Now that is basically a classic difference in air pressure. It could be a window's open. It could be just a bad window with a massive gap on the reveals. It could be those. It could be a number of things. It could be a loose floorboards pointed to the outside. It could be a number of things, but the point is, even the slightest of wind outside, when certain conditions inside, will create a backdraft of air, an airflow basically. And especially with a loose cloth or curtain, whatever that was, draped over the entrance of the stairway. Again, don't know if that's what the case is, but that is the conclusion I would come to first before it's a ghost. Now, before we go further, I know Ghost Theory have had this accusation that they've had a third person with them. I have no idea. I have no idea if that's true. Is it possible? Absolutely. That's possible with any paranormal investigator, to be honest with you. Could they have a mate go around making knocks? Yeah, 100% yes, they could. Is that the case? I don't know. And again, that's the thought process you should have with everyone. I'm not saying don't trust anyone, but just be wary what you're seeing. Again, like I said, YouTube, which is made to entertain people. That's all I'm saying. But the third man accusation, I have no idea if that's true. I have no idea.
They then return back down to the kitchen, where they notice that the door is now open.
Door's open.
Now again, the difference in air pressure it will create, if they've just come through that door, maybe they didn't close it properly, it would eventually open that door if another door is opened, or a window or something, or if, like I said, if there's a draft going through the house. I wouldn't equate that to a ghostly happening myself, but when you're in the moment in these supposedly haunted locations looking for ghosts, that's usually the first conclusion a lot of people will come to.
A mysterious bell sound begins to echo through the house, but a thorough search fails to uncover its source.
Yeah. That was a bell. Are you able to...
I'm being quiet because I'm listening for stuff, by the way.
Can you set the device off in the kitchen?
Surely enough, the device begins to beep. Undeterred, the explorers...
Now, again, with the REM pods, we don't know how long they were asking those questions. A lot of the times when a paranormal investigator... And I like I said, I've been with paranormal investigation teams at locations. They've asked a question, and then the K2 they hold in, or the REM pod they're having, starts going off. It's great. Put that in the video. But what they don't put in the video, not everyone, but a lot of people I've been with, what they don't put in the video is the 20 other times they've asked that and nothing that's happened. This is again the problem with paranormal equipment being used, or I say paranormal equipment, with certain genuine technology being used in a paranormal field. Maybe they don't remember asking these questions over and over and over until something happens, or they do and they just whatever, or look, it's answered finally. But my experience going on with other paranormal investigation teams, when it comes to K2, when it comes to REM pod, when it comes to Ghost Tube, whatever, they will ask over and over and over and over again the same questions. Are you here? Can you speak to us? And then after the 20th or the 30th time of asking, the REM pod will go off and they go, oh, it answered us. Or something else just disturbed the field. Something natural, by the way. And this is the other problem I always see when it comes to paranormal investigators. They either deliberately or inadvertently, they cherry pick a lot of stuff when they're asking questions. I've seen this with Amy's Crypt. I've seen it with Ouija Brothers. They used to use... I don't think they use apps anymore. By the way, I hope they get the channel back. I've seen this with teams over the years when using apps, REM pods, K2s. They'll ask question after question after question. Eventually, it'll go off and they say, oh, thank you. And then they'll go from there as that is a proven answer. There's a lot of cherry picking in the paranormal field. That's all I'm saying.
Continue their investigation.
I've got goosebumps again.
As they enter one of the rooms, they receive one final scare.
Holy was that? Jesus Christ!
Later, when they
I don't know
return
what
to
they
the
jumped
room,
at. He
they
didn't say.
notice that the chest has the word bells written on it.
Spooky bells.
Bells. Oh my god. We both noticed that at the same time as well.
Shocked, the pair theorised that the bell sound they heard earlier could be a message from the house's previous owner.
I can understand why. I can totally understand when people watch Ghostly and they say, oh, they're building a narrative because they're filmmakers. Like I said, it doesn't matter about filmmakers. The narrative part, I can understand that part, but it could also be a natural progression of their investigation.
Mysteriously opening and the discovery of a bell above the outside door.
Right, see, that again, that to me would explain it. There's a bell on the outside door. I believe that was the door which was opened early on. I could be wrong, I could be wrong on that. But that explains, that to me would be a perfectly perfect explanation of what the bell sounds they were hearing earlier on. You had wind going through the house. We know this because of the way the curtain draped got sucked in, you know, from upstairs, probably because there's like a gap in the window or there's a draft going through. Might have been a slightly windy night. That's why they heard that bell going. I don't know if that's the case, but that would be the way my mind would work in these paranormal investigations. Or it's a ghost. So anyway, I don't think I debunked anything. I gave my honest opinion on a lot of stuff and breakdowns. And like I said, there's a lot of videos on my channel which will go into detail about certain tech they use on paranormal investigations. Did I do it drama-free? I don't know. We'll find out. It is what it is. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you like this video. Leave something new to my channel. I do this quite often. And hopefully I'll be back to normal soon. Like I said, I'm dealing with stuff at the moment, which is quite stressful. But I just wanted to make this video to distract myself for a small amount of time. Anyway, thanks for watching and bye for now.